So you usually find these orange vested motorbike drivers around the city, usually in large groups around a stand with the board with the prices on them. They also tend to be cheaper than Grab, and the only problem you might face is that if their English isn't great, you won't be able to make your destination very clear. So that's probably the reason why most people just use Grab, as your destination is already locked in. So when it comes to withdrawing cash, you can typically just go to the nearest 7-Eleven and withdraw cash for almost basically no fee. The more important question is, where do you exchange your money? So BKK Airport on the lowest floor has a bunch of different money exchanges. The three main ones are Super Rich, Silom and Vasu. The top two typically are pretty close to each other, and the third one following pretty closely. What's also cool is that all three of these exchanges can be found pretty much anywhere in the city. The most common one that we saw was Super Rich. So if you're not going to visit any of these three, I'll be pretty cautious with who you're dealing with. And just to be clear, Super Rich typically tends to be the one that offers the best or overall rate at any given time. So before we left the UK, we actually didn't exchange any pounds into Thai baht, mainly because we had a driver picking us up from the airport, so we didn't need to take a taxi, and we didn't think there'd be any other emergencies upon landing. And the final reason is on screen. So I've taken an M&S, which is a pretty popular department store in the UK, which also offers money exchange services. And as you can see on screen, Super Rich actually offers 260 baht more than M&S would. So over small amounts, it might not mean much, but over large amounts, it definitely does. So this is actually the restaurant that we were meant to go to the day before, which was on the Amex dining credit scheme. Unfortunately, they were fully booked, so we locked in a date for another day of the week. And instead we went to another restaurant that was also on the scheme called Zanotti, which is really good.
That's the biggest bonus. My dad is going to be so jealous.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
4K lunch, bro. Yeah, that's it. So on the way from London to Vienna, we had no issues getting on board. Flight attendants didn't say anything about the weight of the luggage, and they were perfectly okay with it. But when we got to Vienna and had to go on our flight to Bangkok, they actually had to hold his luggage back and put it in the hold because it was too heavy to take on board. It's great for Sid because then he can chill on board with no hand luggage and doesn't have to carry any piece of luggage, which meant he was chilling in his tight economy seat, completely happy. But when we got to Bangkok, we found out that his luggage never actually made it. So if you run into a similar situation as Sid, you can typically find a counter at the end of the baggage claim, which will help you with problems like this. It will typically be a representative from your airline and will ask you questions like the type of bag you lost, the size or shape, and the approximate weight. Luckily, they found the luggage back in Vienna, and they tried to deliver it to our hotel the next day. But they said they couldn't take possession of the luggage, and so we had to go to the airport to collect it in the evening. Also, because we spoke to the representative at the airport, we had a direct contact in case we got lost or couldn't find them. So we ended up paying about £24 in total to go to the airport and come back, but luckily because Sid had travel insurance, he was able to claim it all back in the end. So the key takeaway is make sure you have travel insurance. After we got back to the hotel, we headed to a club called Route 66. It was pretty far away, so we had to take a grab.